Welcome to the DPV podcast. This is episode 10. We're cruising.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
Wow.
So I'm your host, Josh Hahn. Alex is not with us tonight. He is making sure that you've got toilet paper to wipe your butt. So that's a good thing. But we do have a guest in the studio, and it's not my studio. We're at Jester's Garage, and this is my dad, the one and only Jess Hahn.
Glad to meet you.
So Jess is a journeyman millwright by trade. He's a designer of tools and processes, an artist. He's a hot rod builder and a fabricator. And today we're going to talk about everything from building street rods to the grit that it takes to be in this hobby, and hopefully just like inspire the next generation of hot rodders.
That's what we're going to do.
Sound good?
Yeah, it does.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so you've been a huge influence on me, in a lot of areas, obviously, because you're my dad. But in particular, you're the reason why I'm into cars. So that's pretty cool.
Glad I could help.
Sometimes that's a curse, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'd rather the curse of automotive enthusiast than golf.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All hobbies are expensive. Anyway, I want to know how you got into like hot rodding and building cars, because I know that Grandpa wasn't really a hot rodder. He would do mechanic things.
Yes, he was a mechanic by trade. He basically did all of his own mechanical work. Every time he had an engine to change or a clutch to change or shocks or brakes or anything, my brother and I were always under the truck with him, under the car. And somewhere around about the age of 6, I ended up with a model for Christmas. And I believe it was a 49 to 51 shoebox Ford. One of these little tiny, really, really, really simple, small scale models.
Okay.
Dug it. I wanted models after that from the very get-go. I was telling my uncles, my aunts, my grandpas, I want a model for Christmas. And so I ended up getting models and models and models. And I fell in love with cars. Even though my dad was into cats and dump trucks and anything with big tires or tracks, that's what my dad was into.
And by cats, we mean like bulldozers.
We're talking caterpillars. Yeah. We're not talking kitty cats.
Yeah,
we're talking caterpillars. The yellow variety, the gray variety. That's what my dad's into. Still is at 84 and a half years old. That's what he's into. I ended up getting bit by this car bug at 6, 7, 8 years old. Now, 1968 was the first year of the Hot Wheels. This kid was 6 years old. That's the same year Hot Wheels was invented. Matchboxes and all that sort of stuff. That's really kind of cool, but that's kind of sorry to say, but that's kind of a British thing. I like Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels and Johnny Lightnings, that was me.
Okay.
Hot Wheels, Johnny Lightnings, and models. I was totally into them as a kid. And so when it came to going fast and everything, I was more into the customizing. It all kind of played from building models, plastic. And then getting closer to being old enough to drive, then I'm just looking for my first rig.
Right on.
Yeah.
Did you ever want to get into racing?
Well, yes, in a way. It was more street racing at the front end of it and at the only end of it. Basically, when I was 17, 18, 19, all the way through my early 20s, cruising was a hot scene.
Okay.
It was a hot scene. And it probably started back in the 50s before I was born. But when I was in my young years as an adult, cruising was incredibly hot. Every weekend night in the summer, everybody that was a hot rod guy was cruising. And so you raced downtown, and then you also raced out there at the port or wherever you can get away with it. And I did a little bit of racing myself. I never did any sanctioned racing.
Okay.
All my stuff was basically just, old school grudge stuff, and honestly, I got my butt handed to me a lot of times because I had wheel hop and all kinds of junk like that happening. But I was having a good time.
Yeah. I remember shortly after I got that engine we built for the Impala done, I thought I was pretty hot stuff in high school with that little warmed up 355 with smoking heads. And I remember being downtown Lewiston at a stoplight, and there was a Tahoe, and it was a new Tahoe at the time. So this would have been like early 2000s, when the LS just came out. That Tahoe absolutely smoked me.
Ate your lunch.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, getting smoked by a soccer mom mobile is not cool.
No. I actually raced your car back in, must have been around 84. I had actually lost my driver's license, but Brian Neely, my driver, he's still a good friend of mine, awesome friend, and we went over to the port area, and we raced the Impala, and there was a guy that was thinking he could beat me, and he had I'm thinking earlier El Camino, earlier 70s El Camino. Okay. And RV cam, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. I revved up the Impala way up there, just dropped it down, and I beat him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "How'd you do that?" And I said, "I told him what I did." And it was really bad on everything mechanically. And so we raced again, and I ended up breaking the drive line.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah. I literally broke the drive line, and it's like vibrating really, 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 really bad. And it's like that. I let off. It went away. I went ahead and floored it. Bam! It drops out. It's jingling on the ground. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And then I revved it up a little bit. Whom, whum, whum. Threw it out. It ends up bouncing all over the place. Of course, he drives on by because he beat me the second race. And that was the end of that. I didn't even have a driver's license at the time.
Did it puke trans fluid all over? Did it spit it out?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago. But yeah, anyway, so we ended up having to tow it home. And I wasn't driving the car anyway because I didn't have a driver's license.
All right, so you kind of got into some street racing, but you're building hot rods. What was your first rig that you built?
My first rig was kind of sort of this thing here. Back when I was 15 years old, I was looking for my first rig. And I remember my dad when I was growing up, he's like, "Man, I sure wish I had my Model A, or I sure wish I had my 55, or I sure wish I had my Studebaker Hawk," on and on. And I knew that when I got to be a teenager, I was going to have my first rig, and I wanted it to be cool, and I wanted to keep it. And so I had a search going on. And when I was 15 and a half, I was visiting some friends up in Anatone.
Okay.
And there was an old truck behind the barn. It was a 46 Chevy truck. And I thought that thing was the coolest thing. I had never seen a 46. I was only 15. And so I seen this grill, and I'm like, this is so cool. I grabbed my T-shirt. I'm rubbing the chrome. It's like I fell in love with it. And I smelt the air, and there was this late summer, it just rained smell. Yeah. It reminds me every year of that one day. And so I found that truck, and it was my 46 Chevy truck. It was an old trap wagon, an old service truck from the farm in Anatone, 1977.
Nice. So I know that Grandpa did a bunch of mechanic worked on all of his own stuff. Is that kind of like where the base of your automotive knowledge came from? And like, how'd you develop it from there?
Yes. And so Dad taught us a lot of the basics. I mean, knocking the tin back when you're doing a valve cover or whatever like that, because he did his own engine swaps. He really never rebuilt any motors, but he would do a long block. And so when I was in high school, I got a job at a full-service gas station. Back in the day, the gas stations were your mechanical place to go. And so I ended up spending from 79 to 84 working at a gas station, and I learned a lot working at the Chevron gas station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. So one thing about the automotive hobby that I think it's important for anybody that might be wanting to get into it is it does take some grit, like to stick with it, or it takes money to pay someone with grit. um, and I'm just thinking like Alex and I just did this double motor swap with these Buicks, and it was just 2 days of straight thrashing in the shop, and you're constantly kind of running into challenges that you have to overcome, and if you don't have some grit, like you might you might quit. Like you might say, okay. And I've heard of people doing this. They were in building cars for 10 years, and they just got tired of it being hard because it really is hard. It's fun, but there's a lot of challenges that come along with it. And I think one of my favorite stories from you was when you went and grabbed these two 53 Chevys from Michigan. And I think it's a great story of grit. So I was wondering if you could tell us about that story.
Well, when I met Carol, we went over to Michigan in '91, and I met my new family.
And we live in Washington State, so just keep that in mind.
We're talking 1,750 miles away.
Yeah.
Right? So Carol and I fly over there, and I meet my in-laws. And he's got like a 5-acre spread out in the country. And I'm looking in the back by the back fence, and there's a couple 53 Chevys there. And one of them is clearly a hardtop. And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. So I walk out there and I'm checking it out. And there's got to be about 2 feet of grass. This is like midsummer. Michigan is a wet, wet, wet countryside, especially upper Michigan. And so I'm looking at this car, and I'm looking, and it is incredibly rusted out. And there's another car sitting next to it. It's a little post, a dark green post. And it's really rusted out. I mean, you open the doors, and the door posts are moving back and forth. They're not even hooked to the floor. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Anyway, so I'm asking him what's the deal with these old cars there. And he says that he picked them up a while back, like 10 years ago. And then my mother-in-law, who I just met, and my father-in-law I just met, and they're like, mother-in-law is saying, you should just give it to him because he's a hot rod guy. Well, she apparently have been talking to my wife. And so he's like, well, if you want those cars, you can come get them. So I go home, and I took a bunch of pictures of these cars, and I'm showing my neighbor. And we ended up building this trailer to haul 2 of them. And honestly, I only wanted to bring 1 car home. That was my goal. Go over there with the trailer that my dad has and a truck and just yard the motor and tranny and so forth out of the one, and then haul the good car, which was the 11-year driven car instead of the 20-some year driven car. And anyway, so long story short, I'd end up bringing both of them home because my neighbor thought that the green car looked better because from a picture it did. But if you look underneath the grass, the green car was garbage. Yeah. They were both garbage. I ended up bringing both of them home.
But what'd you pick them up with?
Well, I built a trailer.
You built a trailer, but what'd you tow it with?
1973 Dodge 3/4 ton, 2-wheel drive, 318, 2-barrel, 4-speed truck.
And you had some issues along the way, didn't you?
I did. Okay, so you must be getting to the grit part of this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, so my dad and I, we changed the shocks, we changed the clutch, we changed some U-joints, we tuned it up, we did all this sort of stuff to make sure we were going to make 3,500 miles without a flaw. Somewhere along the line, Mr. Bozo here forgot to put the snap rings on at least one of the U-joints. I'm not sure what was happening, but I must have missed it. So we're out of town on the first day, early in the morning. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. We're heading up the Clearwater River, and we're probably 30 miles out of town, and I get this huge vibration. And my partner in crime, he's like, we're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. He's like freaking out because he's totally dramatic. Anyway, so I pull over. And I get underneath the truck, and I see that the U-joint is falling apart. I mean, it's like I lost a couple of the caps or whatever it was. I mean, the thing is totally loose. So I get back in there. I says, hey, Robin, in the glove box, I've got a roll of black tape. He says, what's that going to do? What's going on? I says, well, the U-joint's falling apart. We're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. I says, give me that black tape. So anyway, I used up that entire roll of black tape, and I wrapped up that drive line, and we made it to Orfino, about 10 miles away. All you had to do is get the thing kind of loaded up and just keep the torque on it. And we made it all the way to the bridge. We made it into town. We kind of drove around a little bit, found the parts store, changed the U-joint, and went on our way.
Nice. That story right there stuck with me about the U-joint. And Alex and I have actually used that trick twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bring
wheeling.
duct tape.
Yep.
Or black tape or whatever.
Yeah. On Alex's Bronco, the yoke, he broke a U-joint and it broke a little piece off the yoke on his rear axle. And so then the U-joint wouldn't stay put anymore because it wasn't a perfect circle for the cap. And we used an entire roll of duct tape on that thing and wheeled the rest of the weekend. Like,
right. Oh, the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, that's so cool.
He obviously lightened up his foot a little bit.
Well, yeah. You got to baby it.
But still.
A little bit.
Yeah. That wasn't the only issue you had on the trip.
Yep. So we get all the way over there, and I was trying to explain to Robin how bad these cars was. So after 1,750 miles, we get over there, and they already had these cars already pulled out of the muck. That was the week before I flew home. They were up on kind of a higher area. They're up on top of this knoll, and he looks at them, and he's like, man, these things are junk. I said, I tried to tell you that. And he's like, well, there ain't no reason to take these home. I says, dude, we'll take them home. We'll fix them up. It's all good.
Yeah.
So we jackknifed the 73 truck and the gooseneck I built, and we kind of pulled them on with the tractor that my father-in-law had. And we pulled up the hardtop first and put that up there. And then after staying about a day, we went ahead and took off. So then we're heading west. And we get to St. Paul, and we wanted to visit this place that specializes in 53, 54 Chevys, right? Oh, okay. And it's a really, really cool place. We looked it up. They've got all the parts. They're the place you want to stop by. And by the time we got there, it's like late in the evening. I don't know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, or whatever it was. And all we wanted to do was drive down this one street and find that address and then go find a hotel. It's so weird because we drove right by it, and like a block later we wanted to hang a right, which was heading west, and we hung a right, and then it was incredibly steep street, and I drop it into low gear, and the shift track, I don't know if it went right or left, I can't remember, whatever the torque is, but the shifter just hangs to one side, the clutch is smoking. It's really obvious to me that we just broke a motor mount.
Oh, man.
And so we're heading up this steep little, one block. We got to get up to the top of this. And then Robin's like freaking out. What's going on? I go, I think we just lost a motor mount. So we get to the top. And then we cruise back down. We get back to that main street. And we're trying to find some gas station to stop in. This is back in the gas station era. Of course, nobody's going to have a motor mount for a 73 Dodge 318. So we're all the part stores are closed. It's all just what it is. And so we pull in there, and he's freaking out. We're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. It's like, dude, it's not a big deal. So I go back to the toolbox. I had some links of chains, and I had some 3/8 bolts, and you got to have this sort of stuff, nuts and bolts and chains and blah, 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 tape and so forth, right? So I get down in there, and I believe it was the passenger side, and I just basically hooked it. I just chained that motor down to the chassis, just like a torque strap you would be on a race car.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. Again, he's like, dude, you're a genius. I'm not a genius. So anyway, So we head back on the freeway and we jam through the gears and we head north a little bit. We find ourselves in a little place to stay and we spend the night. Next morning, him and his son need to go buy some baseball cards because that's what they were doing on this whole trip. They were gone for 30 minutes. I went over into the Napa store, bought 2 motor mounts, had them swapped out before they got back to the truck.
Nice.
Yeah. All it takes is a bottle jack and a couple wrenches.
Didn't you have to take the hood off that truck?
Yes. So we get done with that morning. We get back onto 94, and then we're heading west. And we go all the way through Minnesota, and we're all the way through North Dakota. I don't know. It must have been the same day. Maybe it was another day. I don't know because it took a lot of time to get up to 4th gear. I mean, it was like granny, and then 2nd gear, and then eventually 3rd, and it took a long time to get to 4th gear. So I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure it had to have been at least another day when we got to Montana. But anyway, Montana was really, really, really hot on that particular day. And the engine temperature was way north of 200. And we would pull over and let it cool down. And then we'd drive a little bit, and then we'd pull over and let it cool down. We hit some rest areas, and he's like, we're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. It was like, and then I had this, I says, well, I had this thought. Let's grab a 9/16 wrench. And so what I did was I pulled the hood off of this Dodge pickup, and we just roped it down to the flatbed truck.
Sure.
And all of that heat just magically came out. And it must have dropped the temperature of the engine by at least 30 degrees. It was ridiculous because we were pushing 220, 225, and it was bam, 195, just like that.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's an old hot rod trick, and I figure if it's going to work on a 32 Ford, it's got to work on a 73 Dodge truck.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. A V8's a V8.
Well, yeah, you just got to let the heat out.
Yeah.
If that piece of sheet metal is just keeping all that heat in.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what configuration of a vehicle you have, let the heat out.
Yep.
If you're driving across the country and you're overheating, take the freaking hood off.
Well, that's cool. I vaguely remember, like you getting the cars and stuff when I was a kid. I definitely remember you building the trailer.
That was 1991, and you were born in 86? Yeah. You were 5 years old.
Yeah.
No, 92, excuse me, because it was a year after.
Now everybody knows how old I am. One of the things that car guys really like to do, most car guys, is go to car shows. You happen to put on a car show, which is pretty cool. We should talk about that a little bit. Chrome on the Crick.
Chrome on the Crick is a name we put on a car show in Asotin that used to be Asotin Days Show and Shine.
Yeah.
And an old friend of ours, Jim Tushoff, he passed. And he was our mayor. He was an amazingly kind, generous, loving man. He was a mayor of our city. And he put on this car show starting in 2000. And he put it on, him and his wife put it on all the way through, I believe, 03. And so, but he ended up sick with a cancer. And so we ended up taking it over in 04, and he passed, I believe, shortly after that, 05 maybe. And anyway, so somewhere in there, we called it Chrome on the Crick because he picked this venue of a park, our city park down on the creek, on the Asotin Creek. And it just has a ring to it. So this Chrome on the Crick is something we've been doing in Jim Tushoff's memory for over 20 years now.
It's really cool. It is a very fun car show to go to. One thing I like about it is that the size of it, like it's not ginormous, but there's still plenty to do.
Right. And a lot of people actually consider it the best car show in the Valley. And it's not because there's lots of trophies or all this sort of stuff. It's actually quite simple. We don't charge anything for it, and we have one award, and it's basically a Jim Tushoff memorial. Yeah. I do a little bit of art. We throw a print out there with some matted frame and stuff like that, and it goes into the Hall of Fame.
Cool.
And we have a little bit of hot rod racing, which is called hot wheel racing. My buddy Dave Crocker, who's actually runs the tower in Yakima, and he's run the tower in Walla Walla and Spokane. This guy knows drag racing through and through. He actually runs the tower at the Hot Wheel drag races in Asotin. It's pretty cool.
It is really cool. What I love that he has like that real life drag racing experience when he's running it, because he knows all the lingo and stuff and throws
he
it out
lives it.
there
Yeah.
while he's running it, and the kids just have a great time. Adults too.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have an unlimited class. One of the three classes is pretty much adults or 12-year-olds,
Yeah.
and some adults act like 12-year-olds.
Sure. Yeah. So you'll notice on my dad's channel, a lot of his thumbnails are like an art piece, and that's kind of what he does for the winners of Chrome on the Creek, which is pretty cool. The ones he does for the winners they're pretty high quality. They're pretty detailed,
Thank you.
which is pretty cool.
When somebody wins Chrome on the Crick, what we do is we schedule a photo shoot, and we typically take. Now we're living in a valley here, so you can go to the top of Anatone grade, you can go to the top of the Lewison grade, you can go to the top of the Alpawa grade, but within about 10, 20 miles one way or another, we've got some, like we're talking 2,000 feet higher, and you get out of the valley, and then you get there before sunset, and the magic light is amazing. So what we do is we take sometimes 100 to 200 pictures of the guy's car or truck or whatever it might be, and I sort through all of those, and I find the right lighting and the right perspective and so forth like that, and I end up doing art of that drawing,
That's cool.
or of that picture.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that we do on the DPV podcast every time, and I should have told you about this ahead of time so you could throw something my way, but it's the fantasy build.
Ooh.
So I picked something out for you. Budget is $5,000
Okay.
ish. You know.
All right.
Um,
Looking forward to this fantasy.
other than the $5,000, it's just whatever you want to do to this thing. So let me try to get it pulled up here.
Okay, the $5,000 for me is I generally don't hire anything else, so I'm buying parts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So
I
time's
don't.
not
I don't
an
think
issue.
we've talked about labor in any of our fantasy builds
Oh, perfect.
because.
I got $5
Yeah.
grand to spend
Yeah.
on this POS that you're going to throw at me.
Right, but the purchase price is included in there, so you're spending $800 on it.
Oh,
So you have to tell
Oh,
them
wow.
tell them what it is.
that looks like an Oldsmobile 55 55 Olds. I can see it right there. Yeah, I hit it
Yeah.
without even looking at the $800 for a 55 Olds. Is that a 2-door, 4-door? I can't tell. Ooh, look at that. Come on, you.
The taillights are pretty cool.
Yes, they are. Yes. It's a 4-door. I can see the X. Yeah, that's all right. It's cool. Okay. I got to find out if it's got a motor in it. It's got a rocket. Looks like it's got a 4GC in it. Nice. Little Rochester. Yeah. Rocket. Okay. And I've got $4,200 to spend. Is that
Yep.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me back out of this real quick. Okay. Wow. Well, first of all, I try to get it running.
Right.
Okay, that's a no-brainer. Try to do it as cheap as possible. You're going to have a battery, blah, 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 some gaskets and fluids and tires. Probably go to Dakota, buy some tires. I'm into it. $2,000 by the time I got the thing rolling and running. And I got $3,000 to spend. The patina looks pretty good. So I'm kind of an upholstery guy. I'd probably go up to the leather store up there,
Okay.
and I'd buy myself about 3 hides of leather.
Yeah.
And I would steam clean this whole thing out. It'd be running. And there's hopefully no broken glass. I don't see any broken glass in this thing, but this thing would have white walls on it, and it would have some really, really kick butt leather in it.
Okay.
Yeah, because and then I would just warm up the coils, slam it down on the ground, the fattest white walls I could find. Just keep it simple. Fix the brakes, fix the motor, fix the electrical, and then put some leather in it. But that's something I can do.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that, but I got a machine and the experience. But I would do something because there's something about really, really, really nice upholstery inside of an old derelict car
Yeah.
that just somehow, some way, just works.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, really.
I
But it
like
does
this
work.
because we've got 9 episodes under our belt, and not once have we mentioned interior. So this is great. This is so good.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just nothing but springs and foam and cotton and leather.
Yeah.
I mean, just make it look nice. I wouldn't have to worry about the headliner. You're looking in from this direction.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Especially if it's
Keep
slammed.
it simple. Keep it simple, but make it smell like leather.
Yeah. I like
You
it.
open the door, it's just like, wow, check that out.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was younger, when I was 17, I had my truck, kind of sort of this one here, and it was a derelict looking thing, and I had a crushed velvet interior, and everybody thought it was the ugliest truck on the campus of high school. And then they got closer, and then they're like looking inside, and they're going, wow, look at that. And their eyeballs popped out of their head because it had crushed velvet.
Nice.
Well, imagine doing the same thing to this car right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Runs good, got good rubber, it's got good brakes. So you got all your mechanicals covered. You're not going to make a rocket ship out of it, even though it is a rocket.
Yeah.
But, it takes a lot of money to make this thing go fast or stop good.
Yeah.
Forget about that. This thing's a cruiser.
Yeah.
Make it comfortable. Make it smell good on the inside. Make it where you really want to get inside that car. That's what I would do for $5,000.
Yeah. Then that makes it so like 200 miles in a day is nice.
Yeah. And so everybody kind of earlier found out that this guy was born in 1986. Okay, because I let the cat out of the bag. So I'm kind of thinking my fantasy build for this guy is you got $5,000 and you go out there and you know that right now you can still buy a Fiero for cheap. Let's just say there's an $800 Fiero.
Okay.
Okay, and then they came out in 84, and they were kind of bland in 84. 87 was the last year. That's when they had all of the sales and all of the ground effects and everything. 86, they were getting there. It was the second to the last year, and they had V6s, and they were actually pretty cool. But, nobody likes a Fiero. They want to still cut them up. But I think that there's going to come a time when the Fiero is that, that hidden gem that nobody thought of earlier. And so what would you do with $5,000 on an $800 Fiero?
I've always actually liked the look of
Really?
Fiero because I know they're not exactly the same look, but it always kind of reminded me of a Lamborghini Countach.
Right.
Like it's got the big flat panels, but it's low.
Right. That was the 80s.
Yeah. And I love a Countach.
Okay.
But I think I would do a 4.8 LS.
Right.
Like the little baby LS.
Mm-hmm.
And because it would still absolutely
I would
scoot.
scream.
But it'd
And they
be
got kits for that.
it'd be a great mileage car and super fun. And so yeah, I don't know how much the LS swap, even with the 4.8, is probably going to be $2,000 to do it right and like make sure it doesn't leak and all that stuff. And then I would buy a complete bushing kit for it to tighten up all the suspension and get some fat tires for it.
Yeah.
Like ones that like the I don't know what they're called, but the polished aluminum ones with the holes in them.
It's modular.
Yeah. But kind of as deep dish as what it allows in those wheel wells.
Make it work.
Yeah, but like
That was
15s.
an '80s theme.
Yeah.
Back then, modulars were all about the '80s.
And it would definitely be bright red. I would find a way in that budget, even if it's the cheapest paint I can afford.
Go to Eastwood,
and
$300.
Yeah, and paint the thing bright red with the chrome modular wheels, aluminum, as fat as they can go, and then a 4.8 LS.
Yeah, I think you could do that for $5,000.
Yeah, I'd have to do all the work myself.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But
yeah, and when you're done, it's worth $4,000, but that's okay.
Yeah,
right. It'd be fun.
But it'd probably get 28 miles a gallon.
And it would be. Imagine taking that on autocross.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Oh my goodness.
So, haven't done this yet. You're a first guest. So I want to have like some closing questions for all my guests. And the first one is just, what advice do you have? What automotive advice do you have for the car guy, whether they are just getting into it or whether they've been into it for a while? Just one piece of advice for the car guy.
Okay. Here's my one piece of advice. If I could go back in time 40 years, you've got a hot rod. Let's just say you're a summer hot rodder guy. Okay, let's not talk about Jeeps because Jeeps are year-round. You're a hot rodder guy, and it's between March and October. Okay? Impala, whatever it might be. When you're driving that car or that truck, and there's something that's driving you absolutely insane, the wiring's screwed up, the brakes are screwed up, whatever it might be. There's something that bothers you. You can't lock the doors. The speedometer's not working. It doesn't matter what it is. Do not take that car apart until October. Okay? Then you decide, what can you do between October and March? How much money do you have? You got $100, $500, $1,000, $600, and how much time do you have in that 4, 5, 6 months period? I can only afford 3 weekends, or I can work on it the whole time. Doesn't matter. The point of it is make your time budget, make your monetary budget, and get this thing back together by March. Yeah. You don't have to blow the whole thing apart. All you got to do is fix the door locks and the speedometer, or fix the brakes and the taillights. Whatever that might be, you pick the 2 or 3 things that's driving you nuts when you're driving it during the summer, right? Do not blow this thing completely apart because it'll be 40 years before you get it back together.
Yeah.
I guarantee you will be retired before you're starting to work on it.
Yeah,
I know that.
We've seen this hundreds of times.
Over and over and over.
And not just like in our life, and like lots of different friends and stuff. You've seen it. Like I talked about that in my Jeep video where I cut the top off my Jeep, where like what I did to the Jeep is dangerous. Like that is a lot of times where projects die because it's completely torn apart. If I will add on to that, if like every project at some point is going to need to be blown apart.
Right.
If you want to, quote unquote, finish it. If you want to get to that point, collect as many parts as you can before you blow it apart. Right. Like with my Jeep, I got the doubler kit, I got the engine, I got the transmission, I got the transfer cases. I have the DOM tubing. I have probably 90% of the pieces I need to put it back together before I tore it apart. Because if you only have 10% or even 50% of it, there's always a chance you're going to run out of money.
Right, because life steps in and takes your money away.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Drive that thing as long as you can. Collect the parts. And then schedule your time and schedule your money. Yep. And then take it down. If you got a winter vehicle, then take it down in the summer. Yep. If you're a summer hot rod or take it down in the winter. Whatever works for you. The point of it is take it down in that season that you're going to go ahead and shelve it anyway.
Yeah.
But only do what you think you can get done by, say, March.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
I like it. And then I don't know where this is going to go, but what life advice, one piece of life advice just for our listeners.
One piece of life advice.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, you want to have the Lord as your Savior because you can't get out of this life. You're either born twice and die once, or you die twice and only born once.
Solid. Yep, I couldn't agree more. Well, right on, Dad. This has been a ton of fun. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast, and I definitely want to have you back. I think it'd be cool to do some more tech-specific topics in the future. So, where can our listeners find you?
Jester's Garage, with no apostrophe. Jester's Garage.
I'll make sure I link it down in the description and in the show notes for sure. So, what's what's your YouTube channel about? What's kind of future directions?
Well, most of it is Art Deco trucks. I would say the large percentage is 46, 41 Chevy trucks. We got Sarsaparilla, we got the Petrichor, we got Jester, we got my dad's wrecker. He's got the 41 Army wrecker. So there's like 4 different 41 to 46 Art Deco trucks. I just published a 38 chop top video that went pretty good. 38 Chevy Coupe. So I've got a few playlists, but for the most part, I'm going to try to concentrate on my own junk here, which is a lot of fun. And I work down there at the jalopy shop periodically, trying to get some work done down there with Rob Meacham. And he's got some really cool projects. And so we're trying to help him show what he does. And Andy Heitman up there at Hell's Gate Hot Rods, he's building a chassis for this 38 Chevy Coupe. And this chassis is as good as it's going to get. You can't build a chassis better than what Andy does. Oh, and it's right up there in the panhandle of Idaho. It's amazing. Right. Anyway, I'm working on that video, and I'm excited about Rick House's 38 Chevy Coupe. And anyway, we'll go from there.
Right on.
Yeah. Basically, Jester's Garage is just kind of showing the world what happens in my little world. I've got my own little projects, and I've got these other things that I'm involved with, and it's old school and a little bit of high-tech stuff, too.
So if you're into building street rods, or if you want to learn more about that, definitely check out the channel. I have learned a lot about sheet metal work just by watching some of his videos, which is gonna definitely help me with my Jeep project because I got some sheet metal work to do. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Dad, for being here on the podcast. It's been awesome. We've got merch down. There's a link down in the description. You get yourself a hat, t-shirt. I'm repping the Vice Grip Garage today, but we've got our own t-shirts. And yeah, episode 10 went pretty dang good. By the time this video posts, I think Alex and I are going to be packing up for SEMA. So if you're going to SEMA, look for Alex and I. We're going to be wandering around filming and driving the 77 Ranchero.
When is SEMA?
SEMA is the first week in November.
Wow.
Yep. And we're driving that 77 Ranchero that we revived last spring.
Oh, wow. Cool. That's a cool video. That is one of the hottest videos.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
900 miles we're driving that car.
How fun is that?
In November. It's going to be sketchy and awesome. So, all right.
Yeah. Put a little bit of weight in the back, would you?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be also, since we have basically a truck bed, because it's a Ranchero.
Sure it is.
We're definitely going to be perusing the old Facebook Marketplace on the way home.
Oh.
See what we can maybe find.
Yeah. Maybe you'll find that 87
Fiero.
Fiero. 86, 87 Fiero.
So, anyway.
For $800.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Wheel it, wreck it, wrench it, repeat. We'll see you next time.